Hello, class 6 students. A warm welcome you all in your science class. Hope you all are doing amazing. And also, I hope that you have revised your previous chapter. In today's class, we are going to study chapter number 3, and the name of the chapter is Separation of Substances. So, here in this class, we are going to study about some separations of the substances. So, what is the introduction of the chapter? We know that the क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ मटेरियल इज यूजफुल इन स्टडिंग दैम. जब हम किसी मटेरियल का क्लासिफिकेशन करते हैं बच्चों, तो उनके बारे में पढ़ने में हमें आसानी हो जाती है. So in the same way, we also need to separate materials or substances available in nature as mixture. So in the same order हमें क्या करना है बच्चों, हमें separate करना है कुछ ऐसे materials को जो एक इस nature में available है as a mixture में. On operation, some of its components or maybe all are useful. जब ये ऑपरेशन हम करते हैं, जब सेपरेशन करते हैं, so इसके जितने भी कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं, they may be useful. For example, stone and husk are removed from the rice before it is cooked. बच्चों बहुत बेसिक एग्जाम्पल है, जैसे कि अगर आपकी मम्मी घर पे चावल बनाती हैं या दाल बनाती हैं, तो क्या होता है, वो हमेशा धुल के बनाती है चावल और दाल को, और जब वो चावल धुलती है तो उसमें से कुछ पत्थर निकलते हैं, कुछ अनवांटेड पार्टिकल्स निकलते हैं, कुछ उसमें से हंस भी निकलते हैं, भूसी भी निकलती है. सो राइस को पकाने से पहले वो उस चीज को सेपरेट करती हैं. सो वी यूज सम ऑब्जेक्ट टू सेपरेट सब्सटेंसेस. फॉर एग्जांपल, अ टी स्ट्रेनर. बच्चों जैसे कि आपको पता होगा, टी स्ट्रेनर यानी कि जो छन्नी होती है, आपके घर में चाय बनती है, सो हम डायरेक्टली उसे नहीं पोर कर लेते हैं कप में ना, हम हमेशा छन्नी लगाते हैं और उसमें से जितने पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, टी वगैरह के, अदरक वगैरह जो भी हम अप्लाई करते हैं अपने चाय में, तब हम एक फिल्टर चाय को लेते हैं. ठीक है. उसी तरह से सीव होती है बच्चों छन्नी, कि जब भी घर में आटा वगैरह साना जाता है तो आटे को चाल के सानते हैं ना, तो सेपरेट करके हम सानते हैं. जरूरी नहीं है कि हम किसी भी सब्सटेंस को डायरेक्टली यूटिलाइज कर लें, क्योंकि उसमें कुछ ऐसे पार्टिकल्स हो सकते हैं दैट आर नॉट यूजफुल फॉर अस. हियर वी हैव सम न्यू टर्म्स इन दिस चैप्टर. वी हैव homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture, threshing, winnowing, sedimentation, decantation, loading, and then we have centrifugation. Centrifugation. Here we have composition of materials. Materials क्या है बच्चों? So they are made up of very small particle. The smallest unit which something can be divided is called atom. The smallest unit जो है material की किसी, उसको हम atom बोलते हैं. The smallest particle of iron is an iron atom, and that of silver is a silver atom. Pure substance consisting of one type of atoms, they are called elements. जो प्योर सब्सटेंस होते हैं that can be utilized directly, they consist one type of atoms and they are known as elements. For example, iron, gold, silver, hydrogen, copper, etc. ये सारे elements हैं, as they contain one type of atom. An element only has one type of atom which are identical in all aspects. Atoms of elements can exist independently in nature as they are unstable by nature. They combine with each other in a fixed ratio to form molecules. Molecules are the smallest structural unit of matter which can exist independently in nature. Here we have another one. Substance like water, sugar and salt, etc. are also made up of molecules. These molecules have atoms or two more different elements. Such substances which have atoms, two or more elements are known as compound. कुछ सब्सटेंस बच्चों जैसे वाटर है, शुगर है, सॉल्ट है, ये भी किससे बने होते हैं? दे आर मेड अप ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स. दीज मॉलिक्यूल्स हैव एटम्स एंड इट कैन बी ऑफ टू और मोर डिफरेंट एलिमेंट्स, एंड दैट इज नोन एज कंपाउंड. When the molecule of an element or compound are present together, उन्हें हम एक मिक्सचर बोलते हैं. एग्जाम्पल बच्चों, milk and air are common mixture. In nature, these are about 112 elements, just like the whole of English language is made up of 26 alphabet. Very important point. So in nature there are 112 elements. जैसे हम English alphabet में 26 letters पढ़ते हैं, 26 alphabets पढ़ते हैं, उसी तरह से हमारे पास element 112 elements हैं. Here we have hydrogen and oxygen. They both are gases which combine to form water, which is a liquid. Similarly, sodium is a metal and chlorine is a gas. They combine to form sodium chloride, which is common salt. Here we have mixture and its types. A substance which contain only one type of molecule, उसे हम pure substance कहते हैं बच्चों. But there are very few substances which are pure, जैसे कि sugar and salt. जितने भी elements से compounds हैं are pure substance. Mixture contain molecules of two or more substance. For example, air is a mixture of several gas such as oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor, etc. Smoke and dust particles are also present in air. Milk is also a mixture of cream and water. The different substances present in a mixture, they are called its components. On the basis of their components, mixture are classified into two categories. बच्चों component के basis पे जो mixture है वो classified है दो category में. That is your homogeneous and your heterogeneous mixture. The mixture whose components can be seen easily उसे हम heterogeneous कहते हैं. जिनके component हम easily देख पाते हैं, जैसे कि sand और water का mixture है या sugar और sand का mixture है. लेकिन कुछ कंपोनेंट ऐसे होते हैं जो विजिबल नहीं होते हैं, जैसे कि अगर हम पानी में चीनी को घोल देंगे तो हमें पानी और चीनी अलग अलग नहीं दिखाई देगा, लेकिन अगर हम पानी में बालू को घोल देंगे तो बालू और पानी हमें दिखाई देगा. Now here we have properties of mixture. The main difference between compound and mixtures, उनकी property है. Both of these are formed from elements, but these elements combine in fixed ratio. They form a mixture. In compound, the element lose their individual property. For example, a compound of iron and sulfur, which is known as iron sulfur, iron will be magnetic anymore. Also, one cannot separate iron and sulfur is iron sulfide using magnet. In mixtures, the element present in them retain in their individual property and can be separated from each other like stones. Mixed with rice or legumes, dal can be separated easily. Pure compounds like water have fixed melting and boiling points. Liquids start boiling at a certain temperature and इसे हम boiling point कहते हैं. Similarly, the temperature at which solids start melting, जैसे कि example है बच्चों, temperature at which ice start melting, उसे हम melting point कहते हैं. So substance has its boiling point and melting point as well. When salt and sugar, they are mixed, in the boiling point of water increase and the melting point decreases. So this property is used to check whether a given substance is pure substance or a mixture. बच्चों separations की need क्यों होती है? To remove the component, we need to separate. To remove the unwanted and non-useful component, for example, removing tea leaves after making tea that we have discussed earlier in the chapter, stone from pulses, straw from milk. To obtain useful component, we need separation. For example, for getting wheat or rice grain after separating husk, dirt, etc. We need separation to remove impurities for getting a pure sample. For example, obtaining sugar crystal from jaggery or salt from seawater. We need for separation to improve quality of the substances. For example, for making sweets, we need to remove water from milk, and from making pickles, we need to remove water from vegetables. Here we have methods of separation. So, to separate the mixture, we have to use some properties that one constituent of the mixture has, the others do not. Example के तौर पे बच्चों, in a mixture of sand and sugar, it is possible to see the sand particles and sugar particles separately. These two substances retain their appearance as well as their other properties ever in the mixture. Next we have, in other example of the mixture of salt and water, the two of them cannot be seen separately. However, the salt water retain their other properties. The several methods are using separating the mixture into its constituent. To separate the different substance, different properties are used. चलिए अब हम बच्चों पढ़ते हैं कि कैसे सब्सटेंस को सेपरेट करते हैं. अभी तक हमने पढ़ा था कि what is the need to separate. Now here we have some different substance needs some different properties. Here we have hand picking. So ये मेथड क्या है बच्चों? जैसे कि कुछ मेथड ऐसे होते हैं, जैसे कि बच्चों आपके घर में अगर मम्मी चावल धुलने से पहले चावल को बीनती होंगी तो जो हैंड पिक से ही जो सेपरेशन हो जाता है, एज द नेम सजेस्ट. This method is used by housewives to remove undesirable component from the food grains. Next we have sieving. So here we have, you can see, हम बच्चों sieving क्या होती है, जो छन्नी होती है उससे हम unwanted particles को जो है निकाल देते हैं, जो भूसी वगैरह होती है. Then we have winnowing. So winnowing is also a method बच्चों. The method it is used when one of the component is heavier. जब दो component मिले हैं और एक component heavier है और एक component lighter है, तो winnowing एक ऐसा method होता है, as you can see in the picture. अब क्या होगा, वो मैटर को ऊपर से गिराएंगे उस सब्सटेंस को और वहां फैन लगा देंगे. ये बहुत बड़े लार्ज स्केल्स पे भी होता है बच्चों. अब फैन क्या करेगा, फैन मूव अवे कर देगा स्मॉल लाइटर पार्टिकल को और जो हैवी पार्टिकल्स हैं वो नीचे आ जाएंगे. हियर यू कैन सी. सो it is to separate husk particles from the heavier grain of wheat. Then we have threshing. So threshing क्या होता है बच्चों, the cutting of crop after maturity. जब जो हमारी crop है वो पूरी तरह से mature हो जाती है और जब harvest होता है तो harvest के बाद process होता है separating का. So they are known as threshing. For threshing, following method are used by using wooden stick, spreading the ear heads on roads and using bullock carts or roller. Here we have sedimentation and decantation. So what is sedimentation? बच्चों sedimentation एक ऐसा process होता है, it is a settling down of heavier insoluble components from a mixture. This method is used for removing the insoluble impurity from water. So जो impurity है, जो पानी में insoluble है, उसको separate करने के लिए we use sedimentation. Example के तौर पर, water is muddy with some fine particles of soil and sand in it. It can be purified by sedimentation and decantation method. Here we have activity 2, which you have to practice by your own. Next we have decantation. ये process है बच्चों of pouring out the liquid without disturbing the sediment. And if the solid dissolve in liquid, decantation cannot be used the separate method. Here we have filtration. Filtration क्या होता है बच्चों? Filtration use होता है impurities को निकालने के लिए जो liquid में मिली रहती है. All common methods of filtration is practiced in our homes while making tea or filtered coffee. When we prepare tea, we separate the tree leaves from the water by using a filter such as wire mesh strainer. This method of separating substances from one another by passing them through a filter is called filtration. The insoluble solid left on the filter is called residue, and the clear liquid which is collected below is called the filtrate. Then we have, here we can see the example of tea leaves by using a strainer. Next we have activity 4. So read activity 4 and practice it. So what you have to keep in mind, cotton or glass wool can also be used in a place of filter paper to carry out filtration. Then we have loading or coagulation. So loading a process of increasing the rate of sedimentation in suspension by adding to it some chemical. It is known as loading or coagulation. When we get muddy water in our traps, to obtain clean water, we add a crystalline piece of alum which is moved along the surface of muddy water. Here we have activity 5. Then we have centrifugation. So fine particles suspended in liquid can be separated by centrifugation. ये एक method है. Rotated, it is a mixture is rotated at high speed in a test tube in a machine, and that is known as centrifuge. The heavier suspended particles move down and the lighter liquid particles remain on top. So this method is mainly used in dairies to separate the lighter cream from milk. Due to high speed of the machine, cream collects in the center and being lighter than the milk float at the top of mixture. This process is also known as churning. Here we have separating soluble solid from liquid. So here we have evaporation. The process which we separate dissolved solids in liquid. This method is used to obtain common salt from seawater. To obtain common salt from seawater, the water from sea is collected in open shallow pits during high tides. When seawater is allowed to stand in shallow pits, water slowly turns into water vapor and it absorbing the heat and sun. So इस प्रोसेस को हम इवेपोरेशन कहते हैं बच्चों। बहुत इजी है इवेपोरेशन को समझना, आपको पता है। यू हैव टू टेक अ बोल, उसमें आप पानी रखिए, आप गैस पे करिए ऑन द गैस। उसके बाद आप देखेंगे कि जो पानी है वो गर्म होके जैसे जैसे वो लाइट हो रहा है वो वाटर वेपर में चेंज हो रहा है, वो ऊपर की तरफ भाप बन के उड़ रहा है। Here we have some method from separating from liquid to liquid. So separation of miscible liquid by डिस्टिलेशन। सो डिस्टिलेशन एक ऐसा प्रोसेस होता है बच्चों जिससे हम लिक्विड से लिक्विड को सेपरेट करते हैं। डिस्टिलेशन इज अ मेथड ऑफ ऑब्टेनिंग प्योर लिक्विड फ्रॉम अ सॉल्यूशन। द सॉल्यूशन इज हीटेड सो दैट द लिक्विड इवेपोरेट्स। When we cool the vapors condensed to give pure liquid, distilled water used in laboratories is obtained in this way. Apparatus used to get distilled water is shown in diagram. Here you can see the diagram. Water containing dissolved impurities, it is kept in flask. And apparatus to cool the water vapor is called Liebig's condenser. So here we have separation of immiscible liquid. A mixture of immiscible liquid, they can be separated by using the separating funnel. Here we have magnetic separation. अब magnetic separation कैसे होता है बच्चों? So कुछ material ऐसे होते हैं जो magnet से attract हो जाते हैं, इसीलिए these material can be separated by magnetic separation methods. So इस method में क्या होता है, magnet को attract करते हैं, materials जो हैं magnet को attract करके वो separate हो जाते हैं. Now separation using more than one method. So a mixture that has then two components, जिसमें दो components हैं, they requires combination of several method separation. Here we can see the diagram of distillation process. Here you can see and practice, try to draw the diagram and practice it more. Here we have sublimation. So changing of solid directly into vapor without coming into liquid, उसे हम sublimation कहते हैं। जब कोई भी solid directly vapor में change हो जाता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल बच्चों, कैम्फर ऑन हीटिंग कन्वर्ट्स इनटू वेपर। कैम्फर बच्चों जो कपूर होता है, जब उसे हम हीट करते हैं तो वो लिक्विड में नहीं चेंज होता, वो तुरंत ही वेपर में चेंज हो जाता है। सो वी कैन सेपरेट अमोनियम क्लोराइड फ्रॉम द मिक्सचर ऑफ इट्स विद कॉमन salt by sublimation process. Okay, dear learner, that's all about this very interesting chapter. Revise the chapter once again and read all the summarizing points which will help you to summarize the chapter properly. मैं आपसे मिलूंगी आपकी अगली साइंस की क्लास में. टिल देन टेक केयर, बाय बाय.